Today we have a video that was requested by a guy named Clayton who I met on YouTube and who is now a very good friend of mine, so that is pretty awesome. He's pretty awesome, and he asked me if I could do a video on awkward situations, and considering that I'm an extremely awkward person, I have a lot of them to share with you. My awkward situation started when I was a kid because I didn't really understand anything. And, if I learned a new word and I didn't know what it was, I would just assume that it meant something that usually didn't mean at all what I thought it meant. And I start using it. Kids, cover your ears. You don't need to know what this is. When I was a kid, I didn't know what a fetish was. So I thought it just meant it was like my most favorite thing in the world ever. So I would walk around in the store and be like, "That's my fetish. That's my fetish." I later learned that that's not what it meant. And then there's the awkward moment that I think a lot of us have actually gone through. It's where you're at a store or the movie theater or Subway or whatever, and you buy your ticket or your food, and they're like, "Enjoy your meal" or "Enjoy the movie," and you're just like, "Thanks, you too." Oh, right, yeah. When I was a little kid, I was waiting for my dad to come out of the men's bathroom because I'm a girl. I couldn't, I was waiting outside the bathroom for him to come out, and we were at some sort of gas station or whatever because we were driving somewhere, and I don't know. I remember he came out of the bathroom, and I ran up to him and I gave him a hug, and I was, "Daddy!" That wasn't my dad. Some of you know I lived in Italy for about a year, and so I had my fair share of awkward situations there as well. One time, okay, so I had bronchitis a couple months ago, sometime in May, and I had laryngitis before that. So I was on a lot of antibiotics, and our school was taking a trip up to Rome because we weren't in Rome, we were in a small town. So we took a bus up to Rome, and we were there for the day, and we were traveling, and I was exhausted because I had taken my antibiotics, and the life just came out of me. I was just like, "Oh, I'm so tired. I need to find a place and lay down." So I was with my friend, and I was like, "Yo, let's go back to because we had free time until the end of the trip." So I was like, "You know what, let's just go back to the bus station or train station, whatever it was, and get some food and go chillax by the bookstore or something." So she's like, "Okay." We went. This was two awkward moments in one day. I was exhausted, so I ate my McDonald's, we were sitting outside the bookstore, and I was like, "Okay, I can't do this anymore. I need to take a nap." And she's like, "Okay, whatever. I'll sit here and keep watching you take a nap." So I was taking a nap, and while I was sleeping, a police officer came up to her, and they thought that I was passed out on heroin for whatever reason, because people were like, "Oh no, that girl's laying on the floor. I think she might be OD and I feel uncomfortable." And it was very nice that people were concerned about me, but honestly, I was just taking a nap. I was perfectly fine. But she's like, "No, no, no, she's not passed out on drugs or anything." I was passed out on antibiotics, but I don't think that's the type of drugs that they were thinking of. And so they're like, "Okay, whatever, that's cool." I woke up, and then she got tired, so she took a nap on the ground, and I decided to sit up and keep watch of our stuff. This guy comes up to me, and he's like, "Excuse me, do you know where the bus to, blah, 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 Florence or something is?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, I don't know my way around, I have no idea." He's like, "Oh, well, where do I get the tickets?" And I pointed to the ticket machine right behind him, and it's right behind you. And he's like, "Oh." And then he stood there for what felt like forever. He was standing there for 2 minutes or something, and just awkwardly walking around. I was like, "Okay, this is a little uncomfortable." And I would have picked up my stuff and left at that moment if it weren't for the fact that my friend was sleeping there, and I was not going to leave my friend passed out with this dude who was 30. And so he was like, "What's your name?" And I was like, "My name's Kat. What's yours?" And he's like, "I'm not going to tell you guys his name because, I don't know. I shouldn't." But anyway, he's like, "My name is blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And then he's like, "Where are you from?" And I was like, "I'm from Canada." And he was like, that's cool. I lived in Canada for 3 years, but I'm from Italy. I was like, oh, okay. And so then he got down, he crouched down because I was sitting on the ground, and he's like, I think you are very nice. I think you are very nice. Do you think I'm very nice? I was like, sure. Yeah, you seem nice. And he's like, that's great, that's great. And then I was like, okay. And so then he's like, will you take a picture with me? I was like, sure, I guess. But, knowing that it's not an Italian thing, but like just being in a bus station in general, you gotta watch your stuff. So I put my bag and whatever underneath my friend and stood up and like went to take a selfie with him. Next thing I know, okay, he's kissing my cheek. I was like, okay, that's whatever. It's just like a European thing. He's just kissing my cheek for the hell of it. And I was like, okay, it's whatever. And then he like grabs the side of my face and starts like turning my face towards him, like he's sitting here in this bus station trying to make out with me, and I'm like pushing him off. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, it took me a minute to actually absorb what was going on, and I like pushed him away. And next thing I know, these two cops are just like standing there, the ones that thought I was passed out on heroin, and they're like, excuse me, is he trying to kiss you? Do you want to kiss him? Do you know this man? And then next thing I know, like, they're grabbing him from both arms and dragging him out of the train station. That was extremely awkward, and no, like, that was that. And yeah, so I've had a lot of awkward situations in my life, and trust me, there is way more. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and leave a comment or a message on my Facebook page telling me some of your awkward situations, and let me know if there's something you need me to talk about. Anything's cool. Bye, guys.